Welcome, hello. As you can see, I am testing out my new audio recorder setup here, and this is my soon to be podcast. So, right now we are in test mode. And as you can see right here in the top corner, I put a link here. Well, it's not really a link, it's just my new Steemit account. So, YouTube doesn't really pay well, as you know, because of all this adpocalypse stuff. So, if you want to support this channel, if you want to support me making more of these videos, then please visit my Steemit account here and just comment on this post, and I will reply back to you, I promise. And we both help each other out by, just supporting this channel any way we can. And Steemit, they reward their creators much better than YouTube. So the payouts are much better. So please check out steemit.com at juicy. That's going to be my screen name, just like PewDiePie. Okay. So I wanted to start off by the biggest topic that most of my subscribers or people that are watching this channel for, and it's all about swimming. Okay, so let's just start from there. If you want to listen to this conversation afterwards, I'm recording the audio version, so it will be a podcast. It will be available. I'm setting it up right now, so once it's available, I will put the link down below in the description for you to download, so you can listen to this in your car, on your way to work, when you're studying. So there you go. Okay, it's much more convenient and more accessible. Okay, so let's talk about how to swim or getting started. Okay, if you want to swim, you want to know the blueprint of how I did it and how you can do it right now on your own, then this video or this podcast is for you. All right, so I'm just going to talk about, first of all, how I learned how to swim, and I'm going to teach you how you can learn how to swim, and I'm going to show you step by step what you need to do. Does that sound good? Okay, let's get started. So, for me, I started swimming when I was a really, really, really young kid. Okay, so I started when I was like 5 or 6 years old. Okay, and my mom, she enrolled me and my sister to the YMCA swimming lessons. Okay, so I think it was like every Saturday we would go to the YMCA, and then I would go to this freezing pool, and I was scared shitless, and I would be thrown into the deep end or in the water, and the teacher would grab my head and dunk it with force, and I would snort a lot of water up my nose, gulp a lot of water, and it was just torture for me. I mean, it goes to show you that whatever you want to learn in life, if you don't have the right teacher, if you don't have the right person guiding you, it can make a phenomenal difference to how you see it in the long run. All right, so I didn't really like swimming when I was a kid. I hated it. I avoided pools when I was a kid because of that experience when I was like a little kid. Then later on, like in elementary school, I still couldn't swim properly. I knew how to move my arms and legs kind of, but again, it sucked. And I would never venture off into the deep end because I didn't know how to handle the deep end. So I would be like on my tippy toes all the time in shallow water. And when you're a little kid, you don't have much distance to gain. And off in the distance, I would always see like all these kids playing in the deep end, having fun, splashing around, diving, playing around with their friends. And I wish I could join them, but I couldn't. Okay, because again, there was a drop off. I was limited to how far I can go, and I was always bunny hopping in the shallow end because I didn't know how to, handle myself in the deep end. Then later on in life, I pursued swimming on my own. So I wanted to make a goal for myself to become a lifeguard, right? Because I thought, I don't want to work at McDonald's. Okay, I'd rather be a lifeguard. I don't know why. But then I wanted to be a weight attendant as well. So that kind of like drove me into that path of swimming again. So I became like like focused on becoming a lifeguard during high school. So I would take all the lifeguarding courses. And when you become a lifeguard, when you're on your path to become a lifeguard, there are requirements that you have to perform. Like, for example, you have to tread water, you have to do front crawl or freestyle for this many laps in this amount of time. You got to do these safety procedures. You got to blah, 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 all that training, right? And if you don't pass, then you don't become a lifeguard. So it was like do or die for me. It's like either I spend money on these courses, fail, and keep taking them over and over again, or I just work at it until I get it and pass these courses and become a lifeguard. So luckily, I worked my ass off. I did the work that was needed. I would train a lot on my own. Like people here left and right, some instructors, some peers would try to give me feedback on my front crawl or, my whatever, right? My strokes. Again, it's all subjective, because nobody can tell you exactly the truth, because they're telling you from their point of view, right? The only truth that you can see is when a camera is filming your swimming. Like when you see that footage afterwards, the truth is right there. You know exactly what you need to work on. Nobody can tell you that. So even the most professional swim coaches, even myself, my opinion is subjective. If I look at your strokes, I will tell you exactly what you need to work on. However, if you looked at your own footage of yourself swimming, that's the best thing you can, base what you need to work on. So I worked my ass off. I spent lots of hours in the pool on my own, just working on my stamina, working on my front crawl, working on my treadmill, treading water. All these things, it was all trial and error for me. It was just you just do it. You do it or you fail. And you don't become a lifeguard and you lose a lot of money. And I was like, hell no, I don't want to lose my money. I spent all this money to get this far. I'm going to keep going to the next level, to the next course, right? And we all of us lifeguard trainees, we were afraid of not passing a test, not passing this course, not being hired. But eventually, we all made it. Most of us, I became a lifeguard. I worked for the city. But that's a totally different story. Okay. So I did learn how to swim, and it wasn't really one person that taught me. And I can, when I look back, I can see that it was a lot of mistakes required for me to learn how to swim. It was just making a lot of mistakes, spending a lot of time on my own in the water. If you saw me back then, I was like a young guy just swimming on my own, just learning, trying to get better, trying to improve my stamina, all that. So I would say that most of my swimming is self-taught, right? No one really coached me. I didn't really have a good mentor, as you say. So would I learn differently if I had a better coach? Yeah, maybe. If I could. So that's my story. And then after I worked as a lifeguard for many years and a swim instructor for many years and teaching hundreds of kids and adults how to swim, I became my own personal swim coach. So I started teaching my own clients privately. And I worked with a lot of clients from all sorts of backgrounds, like adults that had this fear, buried deep inside them for so many years as they were a kid, because they were on the same path as me, but they just quit. When I didn't give up, they quit. And our paths were completely different in life. But here we are. Me teaching, them learning. And when they learn from me, it's like they wake up. It's like they finally lift this fear off their shoulders. They become more confident and like relieved that they can swim finally after all these years. And buried this fear, this weakness of theirs that they think of. So it's great helping people out. I like people that want to learn, that come to me, and that are humble, open-minded, and then we work one-on-one. So I have a lot of experience under my belt teaching all sorts of adults, different backgrounds. They want to learn how to improve their breaststroke, or butterfly, or front crawl, or overcome their fear of the water, even just like putting their face in the water. Like a lot of adults, you would not believe, have a fear of putting their face in the water because of like a childhood trauma they experienced many years ago. Like some friend of theirs just put their head into the water forcibly and they almost drowned, like a near drowning experience. So if you are one of these people, that have a fear of deep water, or don't know how to swim, or just feel like inadequate because, it's something that you've neglected for so many years, but you need to learn this skill. It's a very important skill. It's like first aid. Everybody needs to learn the basics of CPR, first aid, if ever an emergency should occur. Like if someone's drowning, if your child is drowning, if your loved one is drowning, what would you do? If someone close to you needed help and you were the only one there, what would you do? If water was involved. Okay, so that's my story. Now let's talk about you. Okay, so you want to learn how to swim. So you're probably thinking, I'm going to go to my local pool and I'm going to take swimming lessons. And I'm here to tell you that is the wrong thing to do, okay? Based on my experience, because I was there. I was there as a student and I was there as a teacher. I paid for lessons as a kid and I was paid to teach kids and adults how to swim in that environment. And I will tell you, those lessons, you get what you pay for, okay? They're very cheap. They're overcrowded. Usually the student-teacher ratio is like 15-1 or 10-1 or 5-1. It's just too much. It's too much. 1-1, in my opinion, is the best. 1-2, it's hard enough for the instructor. I think 1-on-1, when it comes to swimming, learning how to swim, 1-on-1 is the best scenario. So if you take these lessons, you probably know what I'm talking about, right? You enroll for like, $50, $100 for a pack of lessons. You're in a group setting with all these like 10, 15 other students. And the instructor is some teenager that is fresh out of lifeguarding school. And the teacher makes you do drills. And he doesn't have much time to focus on your problems, right? So that's right there the problem. Because I think everybody has a different set of problems when it comes to their swimming. Not everyone's the same. Not everyone learns the same way. Everyone has different weaknesses, whether it's their kicking, their arms, like their breathing. These micro problems that an instructor can't handle when there's like 15 or 20 students in his class or her class. So I kind of feel like I'm a doctor a lot of the times. Doctor and a counselor to these students of mine. Because they tell me their problems, they tell me their fears, and I tell them it's okay, we're going to get through it. And I work and I take a look at their symptoms and I solve the problem. I give them medication. I say, this is what you need to do. This is your game plan. Work on it. So I feel like, I'm a doctor and a counselor sometimes, or most of the time, instead of just a swim coach. So if you want to take lessons in your local swimming pool, go ahead. And then come back to this video or come back to this audio. And then share your story with us. Because it's probably similar to a lot of people. They just feel like, they don't get anything out of it. Okay? And I'm here to tell you, if you want to save your money, if you want to make a better investment, the better answer, the solution is to hire a one-on-one swim coach. Okay? Again, this has its own set of problems as well. Because how can you tell who's the right swim coach for you? Well, again, it's trial and error. Okay? So I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of coworkers, and I've worked with a lot of them side by side. And to be honest, I don't really like most of their teaching skills. A lot of them just don't have that, that experience when it comes to teaching, like being able to put themselves in the students' shoes. You know what I mean? And it's just personality differences, or like, I don't know. It's all up to the results, in my opinion. So whoever you hire one-on-one, make sure that person gets you results. Okay? That's all that matters, is the results. The results, okay? For me, if I were to hire a swim coach, if I didn't know how to swim, I would make sure that what he or she is teaching me makes sense to me. And when I do what this coach tells me to do, I'm improving. Like, boom, a light bulb clicks. That kind of moment. So I'll give you an example. Like, I see a lot of swim coaches, they have a really bad habit of not getting in the water. Because it's cold, they have to move around a lot, and usually when they're coaching you, they're monitoring your swimming a lot. So they get cold. And I'm guilty of this as well. I've done a few lessons where I just stood on the pool deck with my shirt and shorts and just walk along the pool deck and watch my students. Again, in the beginning, that's not acceptable in my opinion. If you're a swim coach, you need to get in the water with your student. You need to work one-on-one. You need to grab their arms. You need to grab their legs. You need to manipulate their body parts in order for them to fully understand what you're trying to tell them. In my opinion, it's just like a doctor that tries to help the patient. And the only way he or she can help the patient is by taking their temperature, grabbing their arms, like boom, boom, boom. Touch, move, manipulate, right? So, yeah, I see a lot of instructors get lazy and they just stand on the pool deck and just walk and they just say, do this and do that, right? For me, I wouldn't pay someone that did that all the time. I would pay an instructor, just like a personal trainer in your gym, work with me one-on-one. That's right in front of me, helping me, moving my arms, showing me the way. So I think touch is important. Connection is important. But again, it all boils down to results, okay? If you find an instructor that you click with, you connect with, and that gets you results, then stick with that. Keep hiring that person. Anything else? Find another instructor. Now, how do you find an instructor? Well, again, that's another big bag of problems, okay? You're going to have to look around, okay? You can look through your online classifieds, look through Craigslist, you can look through word of mouth, you can ask your neighbors, just search. You will probably, your search, it's just like, for example, like hiring a babysitter. Like the first person you hire won't be the one that you will keep, most likely. You'll probably have to go through a handful of instructors until you find the one that gets you the best results. So, start now. And yes, private lessons, one-on-one lessons are more expensive. But in the long run, it's a better investment versus those public lessons that stretch out for like 4 to 6 weeks. You meet at the pool once a week. You don't make much progress. So, if I had the choice, if I had to start now to swim, I would hire a private instructor, go through a handful of them, interview them, start with a one lesson trial first, okay? Say if that person doesn't click, then on to the next instructor, okay? So that's the first thing you need to do right now. Find a private instructor. Next thing you need to do is you need to find a place to practice regularly, right? So I've said in previous videos, like some people, they think that they can swim like once every 2 weeks and think they're going to swim miraculously if they spend 1 hour with me in the pool. It doesn't work like that. No coach can miraculously change your swimming in like 1 hour. So you got to treat it like you're trying to get fit by going to the gym. And how do you get fit? You go to the gym minimum 3 times a week. You got to go to the pool minimum 3 times a week. If I were you, if you were a beginner, if you were scared of the deep end, for example, 5 times a week. 5 times a week at least, okay? Just spend as much time as you can at your local pool or whatever pool you practice in. Because you've got a lot of homework to do. And you can spend like 60 minutes, an hour and a half. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need to spend 3 hours at the pool in one session. No, that's overkill. To me, 1 hour, 1.5 hours is enough. 5 times a week. Keep at it, right? And even if you didn't have a swim instructor and you were filming your lessons with your own smartphone, which is an alternative to save money, I guarantee you will make more progress than the person who takes the public swimming lessons once a week for 6 weeks, yada yada, right? So think about it. Ask yourself right now, where am I going to accomplish this goal? Where will I train? And again, it requires a lot of research. You got to try out a lot of pools. You got to find out which pool is right for you. I mean, there were times where I would drive for an hour and a half to this pool because it just had the best facilities. It was the least crowded, and I just liked swimming in that pool versus a pool that was like located 10 minutes from my house that I can drive or easily walk to, but I hated the facility. I hated the people that were working there, like very snappy lifeguards, very rude customer service, and the patrons that I was swimming around with, they were very like cutting me off or just blocking the lanes or just hanging around, not doing anything. That's not the environment you want to be in. So you've got to try several pools out and find which one works best for you. And the time that you swim is another major factor. Just like when you drive on the highway, you have rush hour. Same with swimming pools. You have rush hour. Same with gym. You have a rush hour. You have peak times. You have times where everybody's at the pool. So again, you got to play around. Experiment with different times of the day that suits you. Some people are morning people. I'm not a morning person, okay, to be honest. I'm an evening person because I vent all the day's stress and anger and resentment. At the end of the day, I channel that energy into my workout, whether it's at the gym or at the pool. I find it's more productive. In the morning, right, I'm sluggish. I'm a zombie. But if you're a morning person, you want to knock it out first thing in the morning, yeah, train in the morning. Some pools, they open at 5 a.m. Hey, check it out. See what your pool is like at 5 a.m. Is it too crowded? Is it the right kind of setting for you? Some pools, like, downtime is like 10 a.m. Like, there's nobody there. It's just seniors just relaxing in the hot tub. Maybe that's a good time for you. So other people, it's like after lunch or during lunch. Like, there's nobody in the pool because everyone's at the cafeteria or eating. For others, it's like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. That's when all the lessons at the pool have died down and everyone's gone home. And, there's not many people left. So maybe that's a good time for you. But again, take one step back. Find the pool first. Find a pool that suits you. And for me, I like swimming in condo pools because condo pools, you don't get many people swimming in condo pools. You just get your neighbors. And your neighbors, they know you. They trust you. I hope you'll see them regularly so you can build up friendships, network that way. Versus if you go to a community pool, you're amongst a bunch of strangers that come in and out. You don't know who you're going to run into that day. Some asshole that takes up the lane too slow or too fast, right? Cuts you off, tailgates you. I've seen them all right? And I've had to leave pools because of this. Like, I just can't swim next to this asshole, or there's just like too many factors that are screaming at me and saying like, this is not the pool for me. I can't swim here anymore. I can't do this. And I just don't go back there anymore. So for me, I've seen it all. I've experimented with times. I've experimented with a lot of pools that I've gone to. I've tried out. Again, it's a lot of homework. It's a lot of work. But once you find that pool that you like swimming at, and once you find that time that you like swimming at that pool, then you've got a good routine to start. Okay? Then you can start your training. And the training now becomes autopilot. Right? You know exactly where to go. You know exactly what time to train. You know exactly what you need to work on that day, the next day, right? And don't expect progress to like miraculously happen in like 2 sessions, 3 sessions. Like people ask me like, how many sessions does it take? How many hours does it take to learn treading water? That's a very layered question. It's like, my God, like how long does it take a baby to walk? How long does it take someone to learn a new language? Because when you think about it, swimming is kind of like a language that you have to learn. The language requires being in water. The language requires you being facing down, moving your arms in this motion or this motion or this motion. You're moving your legs like this, breathing in a different style that you're accustomed to on land. It's a completely different language. Different movement that you're not accustomed to. Like when a baby is so used to crawling and being on its back or being held, asking the baby to stand up and walk on its own for the first time is like completely alienating. So don't ask the when. Don't ask how long. Start asking yourself, did I do the work? Am I on the path? Am I making incremental steps towards my goal? For me, it took years and years and years of trial and error to learn how to swim. What you see in my videos, when you see me doing butterfly, when you see me treading water, you see me doing front crawl, you see those competitive swimmers swim, it looks effortless. Yes. It looks like, wow, they make it so easy. It looks great. But it took many hours of blood, sweat, and tears to get to that level. So, you can either complain on YouTube, leave comments saying, I can't do it, oh, I wish I could, I wish I could, I wish I could. Or you can get up from your laptop, get up from your computer, and start doing the work. Take action. I recommend that you take action. It's much better. You'll feel much better about yourself once you take action. Now, going back to finding a trainer versus filming yourself with a smartphone, there is a third option, okay? The third option is to learn with me, with my online course. All right, this is my third option. I created this online course called 7dayswim.co. The link is down below. I created this course because I can't be everywhere in the world at once. All right, there are students in Australia or Taiwan or Hong Kong or South Africa that need my help, and the only way I can help them is through Skype, by reviewing their footage that they send me, or if I just create a course for them online that shows me demonstrating what they need to learn step by step. So if you're one of these people, try my course out. All right? It's completely affordable. It's $27. Come on. That's like a pizza. Anybody can afford that. How much are private lessons? Much more than that. I guarantee you. Try the course out. Look at the videos that I made. I have a game plan set up for you to download every time. You can put it in, you can put it in Ziploc, take it with you to the local pool and say, this is the game plan Justin set out for me. This is what I need to do. This is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. I'm going to take these steps. And then if I can't get to step 3, I keep working on step 2. Get better at step 2. And then when the time's right, I go to step 3. And then step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, right? I laid this complete game plan out for you in this course. Okay, so that's a third option for you to try out. try out my course. Watch the videos. It's very simple, laid it out. I demonstrate exactly what you need to learn. And this is the same thing I go through with all my students. When they're a complete beginner, this is what we go through. So you've got nothing to lose, except $27. Okay, so if you want me to buy you pizza afterwards, if you're not happy, then yeah, take your money back. But I'm saying, start taking action, right? Instead of just wallowing, sitting on the sidelines of the pool deck, watching your kids learn how to swim from a snot-nosed teenager, whereas you should be the one teaching your kids. Come on. Really? Are you going to just leave this to chance? Like one day you will learn swimming. One day you might have to save somebody. One day you might be required to swim and you're not ready for that day. You're not prepared. Are you willing to take that chance? Come on. Ask yourself. So this is where I'm going to end this podcast, this video. All right. So if you have any questions or comments about swimming, leave them down below. You can join our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group that's dedicated just to swimming. So if you want to ask me any questions there, click the link below. And again, check out my new Steemit.com at Juicy. Leave a comment there and I can comment back to you, and that would support our channel here. Okay. So that's it for now. I say this with all due respect, love, and joy. I want everyone to be swimming. It's just like riding a bike. We all should be doing it, okay? But it's now or never, okay? So start taking action now, okay? Love you. Bye.